Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here. Hope everyone's doing well out there. And today I have a kit guitar that I built in 2015 and kind of want to go through a little bit of what happened to this thing throughout the years. And if you don't remember this guitar, the build of it, there's a little clip that I did a while back. Alright, again, so what we have here is a Chinese Les Paul copy that was built in 2015 and now current it is 2019. And I kind of want to go over some of the things that has happened with this guitar. So as you can see, it's pretty much held up pretty good, not too bad. I did not copy the Gibson headstock or even put any type of a logo on the headstock, and kind of hopefully went with my own shape for the headstock. And everything on this guitar, from the tuners to the nut to the electronics, the tailpiece, the bridge, has been replaced with something that is a little bit better, or a lot better, than the Chinese stuff that comes with the kit. At least I think it's a lot better of an upgrade than what the Chinese stuff was. So I sprayed this thing with the StewMac guitar lacquer, and don't mind the color tone. For some reason that's a whole new ball of yeah, I ain't gonna get into it. Anyways, the guitar's held up pretty good, but I kind of did something on purpose with this thing. Stuck it in a room that is not really climate controlled as far as hot and cold goes. Kind of wanted to see what this thing would do on purpose and get it to look like it's older than what it is, without having to relic it by hand or do any type of relicing to it. So let me turn the light on the camera and you'll see what I'm talking about. So if you see the cracks in the finish, now that's not cracks in the wood, that's expansion and contraction from, waste my battery with the light on, expansion and contraction from hot and cold. Now what I ended up doing with this is sticking it in a room for a few years, a couple of years, and basically let it sit there. And the room is one of those rooms that you can never heat, you can never air condition. Just for some reason, it just, either it's the way the ventilation system is in that room or whatever, but it just sucks. And in the wintertime, the room is cold. In the summertime, the room is hot. And the expansion and contraction basically did all the, I guess you can call it checking as far as the finish goes. And it even did it into headstock. So I don't know if you can see a little bit, but there's some lines over here. And it's not cracked in the fin or in the body itself. And there's some on the back of the headstock as well. You can see it. It's not cracked like you would think that the wood's cracked or whatever. And it also did it in the back too. It's basically just the finish. Now, I sprayed this thing heavy. There's probably a total of 17 coats that went on here, very light coats. And I also sanded back probably maybe 3 of those coats. So there's still kind of a heavy finish on here. And again, like I said, I wanted to see what it would do if temperature change would how much this thing would expand and contract, and what it would do to the finish, if the finish would stretch with it or crack. Well, it's lacquer, so guess what it's going to do? It's going to crack, and that's what it did. Now, I don't mind it. To me, it kind of gives it a little bit more of a character to it. Again, it's not a relic finish to where I sanded down, certain areas of the body and stuff. This guy just wanted to have like an older look, forcing an older look to it. And I think I achieved that without, hitting it with sandpaper and stuff. Now, I want to go into a little bit of something else about, upgrading guitars and stuff, and see what you guys think. So I'll be right back. So I have a question, and this is for all of you YouTubers out there who have done basically, upgrades to your guitar, changed things around, did a few things to it to either boost the value of it or just personal preference of, why you wanted to do it for playing purposes or sound purposes or whatever. Now, I watched a video and it kind of like caught my eye a little bit, because there's a lot of stuff that was being talked about in this video are things that I have done either to kit guitars or, less price guitars, lower price guitars that I've resold. And that's basically upgrading electronics, upgrading tuners, upgrading tailpiece, bridge, nut, everything that is on the guitar besides the finish and the wood of the body or neck, and putting a price on that and selling it to an equivalent of something that, if you had a $100, $150 cheap guitar that you ended up putting, $300 into it as far as upgrades go, and, now is that guitar worth, $400 or an equivalent to a brand name guitar that is worth about the same amount? I don't see it for some reason. I've built a lot of kit guitars, and I've done a lot of upgrades to guitars, kit, and, some brand names, some names I haven't even heard of. And I had a hard time, putting prices on those guitars as far as, the upgrades and the artwork and everything else. I had a hard time putting a price on those. And you can ask even, some of the people that I've spoke to on the internet that were telling me, you're selling your work too cheap. So the question I have, the video that I watched basically had they went out and they bought a Harley Benton. And again, this is not a video to criticize anybody or try to start any problems or anything, but basically it's a legit question. The video that I watched, basically the two people bought a Harley Benton from Thomann, not a very, very expensive, but it was a Les Paul copy, and upgraded the shit out of it. So it's got new tuners, new bridge, new, tailpiece, controls, pickups, nut, everything. Everything got replaced on this guitar. And it added basically the price of all the upgrades to the price of the guitar, and grabbed a Gibson guitar of the equivalent price and compared the two. Now, I can't say that that's an actual good match, because they didn't use Gibson parts. They didn't put Gibson pickups on there, or bridge, or whatever Gibson would use on their guitar. So as far as sound quality goes, I wouldn't say that is a good comparison, because of course one's going to sound different from the other. And of course, you can have two of the exact same guitars, and depending on how they're set up, either the pickups are up higher or lower and stuff, they're still going to sound different. Now, on this thing here, I replaced all the electronics with Epiphone ProBuckers. So it's the whole kit. It comes with the pots, and these are push and pull, so I can split the coils. And it comes with the three-way switch. It says Epiphone on the switch. You have the output jack that comes with it, and then your pickups, and then your harness that also goes with this, which is a plug-in harness just like Epiphone would use. Wilkinson's roller bridge. The tailpiece, I believe, is the stock tailpiece, because there was really nothing wrong with it. And up here on the headstock, bone nut and real Grover tuners instead of the cheap fake ones that come with the kit. So I replaced basically everything. But the thing about it is, though, is if this was a a brand name guitar and I did all this work to it, say like a lower end brand name guitar, adding all the upgrades, does that make the overall price of the guitar go up as well? Because at the end of the day, it's still, I'll use the Harley Benton as an example, it's still a Harley Benton at the end of the day. Now, I understand with vehicles, it's, there's a blue book value on vehicles as far as what the street price would be if you were to sell it outright or to trade it in or use it as a trade-in, or even just to get the cash value of it at a dealership, which is a lot lower than what the street value would be. Now, when you bring a car to a dealership, they don't look at chrome rims. They don't look at upgraded audio system, video system, any modifications that has been upgraded for the engine, or, they don't look at any of that. At the end of the day, there's a blue book value of what the dealership is willing to give for that vehicle as the vehicle was as it rolled out of the factory. All the add-ons are just add-ons. Upgrading this and upgrading that, that's all it is. You don't get that money back unless you wait or whatever, or you find a buyer real quick. You could sell it on the street for what you're looking for as far as the price that goes on that vehicle. Tell me if I'm wrong. But it'd be interesting to see what you guys say as far as comments go on this. At the end of the day, is this still just a cheap Chinese Les Paul copy? Or with the upgrades, is this considered now the equivalent to an Epiphone, or the Epiphone price range with the same hardware and electronics that are installed on this? It would be interesting to hear what you guys say. And, please say anything that you want as far as, the comment goes about what you think. So, again, you guys take care, have a good one, and catch up with all you all later.